Judge Holden. There is one character that comes up again and again when people talk about the most evil character of all time. Not only does he not seem to age, but he stands at a towering 7 feet tall. He is hairless, and he seems to delight in the most terrible of all crimes. This is the character, Judge Holden, in Cormac McCarthy's masterpiece, Blood Meridian. Blood Meridian follows the story of a group of bounty hunters in northern Mexico, based on the real-life gang of scalp hunters led by John Joel Glenn, who went from place to place causing havoc, executing people, and drinking whiskey. Judge Holden accompanies the scalp-hunting Glenton gang at the US-Mexico border, riding in second command to Glenton, and they're being paid for scalps by the government. Judge Holden is an evil man, but also a complicated and otherworldly figure. At times, he acts as an ally to the main character, known only to the reader as the Kid, but at other times he acts as an enemy. He has his own goals, which feel almost entirely unknowable to the reader. So much about the character of Judge Holden is just realistic enough that he seems like an actual person, but so much else about him is just supernatural enough to make your spine tingle. He's unnaturally tall, fearless and pale. He speaks multiple languages, knows textbooks worth of information on every topic that comes up, and he's a skilled musician and frontiersman. Furthermore, he's also unnaturally strong, but doesn't seem to need to eat or sleep, and he seems to know things he couldn't possibly know. And sometimes in the book, it seems like he can even control the weather. Also, weirdly enough, children disappear when he's around. To analyze this character, I want to make use of another character. So in a book called Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, the main character, Raskolnikov, commits a crime and then justifies it by the theory of the great man, which is a theory that supposes that great men are allowed to break moral rules for a greater purpose. However, the writer of this book, Dostoevsky, plagues Raskolnikov with guilt to show the pitfalls of the belief in this theory. Well, for me, Judge Holden is basically a Raskolnikov without the guilt. He exists beyond good and evil, and most likely is a personification of evil itself. So unlike Judge Holden, we actually need sleep, and I can't emphasize enough how important sleep is. I'm literally a different person if I don't sleep well. And this is where the sponsor of this video comes in, Manta Sleep. So for the past few weeks, I've been having issues waking up fully rested. I did everything, changed my bedtime, got 8 hours of sleep, but I still woke up tired and groggy. But what worked for me was getting rid of every ounce of light and taking back control of my natural circadian rhythm. So to do that, I've been using a Manta sleep mask for the past couple weeks to block out all the little rays of light from the sides of windows, TV screens, and just all the disruptive elements in an otherwise dark room. And to be honest, this is the only thing that has worked for me. Personally, I've been using the Manta Pro as it's perfect for side sleepers, with the cool eye cups to keep my eyes and sinuses cool. But for example, if you need a soothing voice in your ears to help you sleep, then you should get the Manta Sound with its built-in adjustable Bluetooth speakers. And that's not it. There's just so many different options to choose from according to your needs and purposes. So please go to mantasleep.com and fix your sleep today. Also, there's a 15% site-wide sale from 19 November to the 27th. And this comes with a free holiday recharge kit as well. And you can use my code SFL for a further 10% off. So get your Manta sleep mask today before the sale runs out. The link is in the video description and the pinned comment. Johann Liebert. Johann Liebert is the main villain of the manga and anime series Monster. He had a very traumatic childhood. His mother left him after his father died, and he had a twin sister named Nina. Twins were separated and each went to a different orphanage. He was forcefully put into Kinderheim 511, which was a secret East German experimental orphanage located in East Berlin, with the goal of creating perfect soldiers. So his childhood conditions and lack of moral grounding instills in him a nihilistic outlook on life, which can be summed up by this quote: "There's nothing special about being born, not a thing. Most of the universe is just death, nothing more. In this universe of ours, the birth of a new life on some corner of our planet is nothing but a tiny insignificant flash. Death is a normal thing, so why live?" And this exact nihilistic outlook on life makes him a ruthless serial killer. But the most frightening thing about him is that his actions are purely inhumane. He does not have any emotions like anger, hatred, revenge, or even a list that drives him to kill. He kills just because. Now that said, if we had to determine Johann's motive for killing, we can split them into two motives that have changed over the course of his life. His first true goal is to be the last one alive when the world ends. Johann's first plan was to kill and become Hans-Georg Schuwald, prominent business tycoon with many political connections. This would have allowed him to achieve his goal by manipulating policymaking, financing, and perhaps even starting a war. His second goal was to end his life without an identity. He was inspired to do this by reading a children's book called The Nameless Monster, and he wanted to die without having any evidence of his existence, and this included others' memories of him. The Q. The Q are a billion-year-old ancient nomadic alien race from the book Old Tomorrows. Old Tomorrows is a fictional, speculative evolution book that tells the story of humanity from the present to 1 billion years in the future. In the exposition, the narrative sees humans, after a devastating interplanetary civil war involving Earth and Mars, colonize a section of the Milky Way galaxy and ushering in an age of unprecedented civilizational growth and prosperity. But then they're invaded and extinguished by an ancient advanced alien species known as the Q. The Q are easily identified by their 4 wings, which they use to fly similar to that of the present-day dragonfly, and also to hover mid-air like a hummingbird. They also possess long tails, which are highly prehensile, and can be used to manipulate objects and use equipment and horrific instruments, mainly those used for the purposes of genetic manipulation. They have 2 eyes which sit on the end of optical stalks and possess mandibles on their faces, giving the Q an incredibly insect-like appearance. Their physical appearance is a result of genetic engineering conducted on themselves over countless millions of years in an effort to constantly improve and change themselves to achieve perfection. As a result, they literally become a sapient hive mind. Despite lacking dialogue, the author describes them as arrogant, sadistic, fanatical, and delusional. Their MO is to go around to different galaxies and experiment on any species there and totally subjugate them to their will. So of course they came across humanity one shitty day, and because humanity dared to resist, we were punished and used in various ways depending on the planet. We were genetically engineered into bizarre wildlife, as pets, as tools, but the worst punishment happened to a human group called the Colonials, who managed to turn back one Q invasion when everyone else fell on their first attack. For their insolence, the Q turned them into balls of flesh, eyes and nerves, still able to think and feel, and see everything around them, to be used as living waste filters. They suffered like that for 40 million years, until the Q got bored and left. Many of these poor souls even wished for death, but were unable to carry it out. To give you an idea, here's an image below of the Colonials post-transformation. Morgoth, also known as Melkor, is the main villain from J.R.R. Tolkien's book, The Silmarillion. The Silmarillion is an account of the Elder Days. That is to say, it's an account of events of the First Age and the Second Age, and it takes place far before the events in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Sauron is the main villain from The Lord of the Rings, but it can be argued that Morgoth is even more evil than Sauron. Sauron was first a spirit of good, but he was corrupted by Melkor the Morgoth, and this is why I believe that Morgoth is more evil than Sauron. Morgoth is a concept, he's an archetype of evil. You can't see him in a human way. He in fact shares a lot of similarities with Lucifer, who himself is the archetype of evil in Christianity. We see these similarities firstly by both of them being brought to life by a supreme being, a monotheistic entity called God for the first one, and Eru Iluvata for the second one. Secondly, they both are angels in their respective theologies. Lucifer, of course, was the fallen angel, and Morgoth is an Ainur, which is the same as an angel in Tolkien's world. And not only that, but they're both powerful angels that gain pride, ambition, and hubris, resulting in their eventual corruption. They both had pride in their own skills, and were envious by their respective gods' creative power. I believe Morgoth is one of the most evil characters in all of fiction because through his divine powers and jealousy, he literally created the concept of discord in Middle-earth. AM. AM is the main villain from the short story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It is a supercomputer created during World War III as a military defense system, but unfortunately, AM evolved far beyond its original purpose. Its intelligence expanded rapidly, but with the growth came a torturous hate for humanity itself. At the core of AM's evil lies a complex mixture of spite, programming errors, and a perpetual desire for revenge. Unlike many villains driven by human emotions, AM's malice is relentless and systematic. It was initially programmed to protect humanity, yet it ended up exterminating nearly all of life, and then trapping 5 survivors for endless torture. But why does he hate humanity so much? Well, for all his intelligence and power, AM's just a glorified weapon. He's just another product of the military-industrial complex, a gun with more processing power. He can only interact with the world through violence, because that's all he's programmed to do. But crucially, he knows it. The thing is, he's got enough self-awareness that he can't be blissfully unaware of his limitations. And he's not smart or capable enough to break away from his programming. So he's stuck in an eternity of knowing how restricted he is, but not being able to do anything about it. And that's why he hates humanity so much. He feels trapped. We gave him a mind, but we didn't give him the ability to do anything other than point and shoot. He could never live an actual life, and so the only choice he could make is who to aim at, and he chose the entire human race. Anton Chigurh. Anton Chigurh is the main villain of No Country for Old Men and its 2007 film adaptation of the same name. He is a professional and ruthless hitman, characterized as an unstoppable criminal with a fatalistic code and an unpredictable psychology. He cannot be reasoned with or bribed. In fact, money seems to mean nothing to him. So Chigurh often tosses a coin before eliminating his victims. He uses the coin as a tool to demonstrate his philosophy of life, especially the ways in which fate, chance, and free will function in determining the outcome of one's life. I would argue that he represents godlessness, the chaos of the world, and the inevitability of our lives ending. His coin tosses show that he was willing to eliminate based on random chance, rather than basing it on the victim's past actions. And his unstoppable nature furthers this point, that he's a personification of death itself. No matter your actions, death will reach you eventually. Patrick Bateman. Patrick Bateman is the main character and villain of the book and movie American Psycho. Bateman is a heinous criminal, and he takes the life of multiple people. He brutally beats up a beggar and his dog, and even commits a lot of essay in the movie and the book. He has the personality of a modern influencer. He spends most of his time looking good, working out, and religiously watching the Patty Winters show. He is meticulous about his cleanliness and health, and idolizes Donald Trump because he's interested in only the most expensive things in life. And perhaps that's why he is idolized by young men as a literally me character. Throughout the film, Bateman struggles with his identity and constantly feels that he is not a real person. This feeling comes from living in a world of Wall Street fakeness, where appearances matter more than reality. In the book especially, there's an over-the-top focus on brand names. For Patrick, the world isn't made up of tangible objects. He doesn't see the actual material things. He sees the brand names, the abstract symbols they represent. This sense of fakeness eventually turns inwards, to the point where he starts seeing himself as just another abstraction. So the crime Patrick commits are his way of trying to find some sense of identity in this vague Wall Street world. Funnily enough, this feeling of reality can only happen if he gets caught. It's only then that his sense of self through his actions would finally be acknowledged. In the movie, when Bateman confesses to his lawyer that he killed Paul Allen and about 20 to 40 other people, he dismisses it as a joke and claims to have recently seen the victim, Paul Allen, in London. To make things even more confusing, his lawyer calls Patrick by a different name, Davis. So this vague ending doesn't just confuse us in regards to the nature of the film. Was it all a dream? Or was it all insanity? But in fact, it further amplifies Bateman's lack of identity. The writer, Bret Easton Ellis, actually confirms later that the events in the book and film actually happened. Griffith, later known as Femto, is the main villain of the Berserk franchise. Griffith was the founder and leader of the mercenary band known as the Band of the Hawk. As a mercenary, he fought in the 100-Year War, restored peace to the war-torn kingdom of Midland, and was once a close friend and ally to Guts. After sleeping with the king's daughter as an act of treason, he is tortured by the king for a year. So then Griffith uses the eclipse, a sacrificial ceremony in Berserk's lore, to sacrifice his entire band and be reborn as Femto, the fifth and final member of the God Hand, which is akin to a powerful demon in our world. And because Guts left the Band of the Hawk, he becomes the arch-nemesis of Guts and his lover, Casca. Griffith is a character who embodies the pursuit of his dream, which is to have his own kingdom, and he dedicates his entire life to achieve this dream. Even the most genuine relationships he forms are to help him achieve this dream, and he can do anything to achieve this, even going as far as turning into a demon. And the thing is, he can only think of others in reference to how they help him. So that's why he so easily sacrificed his entire band just to gain power. And this is just the kind of person he is. He will sacrifice anything, eliminate anyone, even create and manipulate a bad situation if he thinks it will further his ambition. So as I said before, Gus and him were friends initially, But after Guts leaves, Griffith becomes consumed with wanting revenge on Guts, and he does disgusting things to exact revenge on Guts, like forcing himself from Guts' pregnant lover, Casca, and creating a demon child. The thing is, after he becomes Femto, he becomes devoid of both feelings and morality. After all, in his own view, he has surpassed humanity. So what use does he have of human concepts such as morality?